What's going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of November the 30th, Thursday, through Wednesday, December the 6th of 2017. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for being a part of the Leo King app. I truly appreciate it. So, we've got a lot to talk about because when we look at this week's astrology, and I'll be honest with you, I think that this is one of the more powerful weeks in the astrology of the whole entire 2017. And the reason why? There are multiple aspects, transits, so many things happening in the planets that it's, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it just highlights the point that this is a very important time to pay attention to. Let's start with some of the big stuff first and the positive things. Jupiter in Scorpio is making a trine to Neptune in Pisces. Both water energies, Pisces and Scorpio, dealing with more of the hidden subconscious aspects. But these are Jupiter and Neptune. These are all about spirituality, belief structures, opening up doorways, spiritual doorways, belief doorways, physical doorways. These are massive amounts of spiritual doorways being opened right now, and especially, I hate to use the term, there is a little bit of a hall pass based upon your karma and how these doorways are opened. So we're seeing it in ways where people have bad karma and the doorways that are opening are the debt in which they owe for that karma. I know I don't want to bring up that, but there is that element to things when you're dealing with so much happening to Neptune, especially a full moon coming up here on the day that Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius, which is in its detriment, which means it's not in its strongest sign. And this full moon in Gemini is going to square Neptune exactly. So the sun and the moon are going to square Neptune exactly. So another Neptunian transit. Not only is Jupiter the biggest planet amplifying Neptune, but we have a full moon square Neptune. So this is going to bring up so many things in our life that are we on track or not? Are we on our spiritual path? Are we living in our highest good? And especially because this is also a week where Mars opposes Uranus exactly at the same time. Uranus dealing with our highest good, dealing with whether we're going to ascend to another level in our life. And here's Mars and its detriment, Libra, coming into this opposition. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's like there's these major doors opening, and with Mercury on its last direct motion and coming retrograde this weekend on Saturday into Sunday, and a full moon in Gemini, which is going to add to the intensity of this Mercury retrograde. It's almost like we're running to the weekend like, got to get these things done, got to make these choices, got to make these changes, got to make these things happen. And especially because this Mars in Libra is learning from Uranus and Aries to ascend higher, you have to take some sort of bold action. I've been using the term because a lot of people have been wondering in my group on Facebook, like, what does the Leo King mean by this energy and having that it's like this big moment, and what do we do? Some people are confused, and of course there's a lot of confusion with all the Neptune energy around, and with Mercury, of course, not in its natural sign. It's actually exiled in Sagittarius, and it's on top of Saturn, a planet that's slow, and also looking at so many different places, we can get confused just in which direction to go or how we're going to do things. But the main thing is jump. You know, I think that Mars in Libra is just like the kid in Jurassic Park who's sitting on the fence and unsure if he should jump, even though the electricity is about to turn on, the alarm's going off. It's like, just go, you'll be safer if you take some sort of jump or action. And I think this jump is in where we're contemplating in our life. And I think because there are so many doorways opening, and this is pretty much, if you look at the astrology coming into December here, this is the last big or the most major aspects that are dealing with Jupiter aspects, or as Sagittarius would go, opening door aspects. So it's like bold moves. This is also the last week where the moon in Aries will be in a fire sign with Saturn in Sagittarius, right? We're not going to have Saturn in another fire sign until it comes into Aries, so the moon in Aries won't have Saturn in trine, which is take actions, and you know what? There is some sort of stability there. There is some sort of, you know, especially with planning, it will all work out. I think that this is us trusting a lot more in our desires, in our direction. This is us not contemplating so much, which could be the highest of contemplation when you have a South Node in Aquarius. You've got all these planets that are in Sagittarius. You've got Venus, which finally moves out of detriment in Scorpio, but it asks at the end of Scorpio, like, hey, listen, Like, what is it that you really want in your life and you truly desire, and that is really deep down in your deeper needs and wants in your life? And are you going to open the doorways to it? Are you going to believe? This is about major belief systems and major belief structures and trusting that they can come true. But you have to jump towards them. I know that a lot of people kind of want to sit and wait for some things to happen, but I mean, based off what I'm seeing from other people in the universe, like, you know, Aries, unfortunately, is a sign that has to deal with doing what you want and jumping towards it. And because there's so much connected to this, especially with Saturn finishing its trine to Uranus, Mercury has been trine Uranus, there's been a lot of positive aspects to Uranus. And I think that, you know, as Uranus is coming towards Pluto again, and Pluto is direct, and all the energy is moving into Capricorn in the next couple weeks, I mean, let's be real here. The universe is preparing us. Do you believe, and are you going to take action in what you want in yourself? And are you going to go for it and just do it? And are you going to go for what your dreams are? Are you going to go for what your big visions are? We're not going to see this much Sagittarius, folks, for decades. Decades. This is the last time that the moon will be in Aries with a big Sagittarius transit like this for decades, dealing with Saturn at least. We will have Jupiter at the end of next year, but it's going to be another year until we have the moon in Aries with a big planet in Sagittarius. So it's like, plus with this moon in Taurus coming this week and then this full moon in Gemini, there's so much about the environment we're in and whether or not our doubts are going to, you know, our doubts are going to come up and battle with, you know, do we trust the universe? Are we trusting where we're feeling intuitively guided towards? I think that there's so much that's saying, oh my gosh, we have so much that we're guided towards. Let's just believe in that. Let's just go in that direction. This is also a crazy and powerful week because not only are all these events happening, but it's Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde at the last degree of Sagittarius with Saturn at the galactic center point. I mean, this is where Mercury's going to cross over Saturn in retrograde. And this is a major, like, everything is going to be moving forward. I'll be honest with you. Even though Mercury's going backwards, it's going to feel like, oh my gosh, things are moving forward, but now there's going to be a lot of things to do, a lot of things to catch up on, a lot of doorways to look at, a lot of opportunities to review. So I think that this is a very powerful time to really go for it and to make the leap towards your beliefs, to make the leap towards what you feel spiritually guided towards, to open up this Jupiter trine Neptune, this Mars opposed Uranus. I mean, this is about breaking the limits, breaking the rules, opening the spiritual doors, taking the portal that is open now and doing something about it and not wasting the energy. I hate to use that term too, but not wasting it. After we step out of this weekend and the craziness of this full moon and the Mercury retrograde, I think it's really all about moving into the new world that we're going to create and a new vision and a new look. Mercury retrograde and its detriment in Sagittarius is a new perception of the world, and I guarantee you we're going to come out of a major weekend. I believe, honestly, December 2nd and 3rd are so major in the shifting and the perception of the world and the environment and the perception of how the world looks and what we live in, that it will radically change the way we look at the world come to Monday. We will all be individually looking at our lives differently and how we're going to approach them, but we are also going to see on a world stage from an event that is triggered this weekend a major shift in how we look at the world now for a long time. So be prepared for that. Thanks so much for watching my Uncut. I truly appreciate it. If you want to be part of my webinar, which is on Thursday going into all of December, you can join that at inclusiveastrology.com. If you want to find out what's coming up for the next 5 years, you can get that at inclusiveastrology.com. You can get that pay-per-view awesome streamed video, which is all about what these next 5 years are about, which is called Rising Through the Darkness. It's at inclusiveastrology.com as well. Thanks so much for all your support. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you all later.